Hello, ReUnify and Riffs people.
Hey everyone,
Nikki here.
Steve from Riffs.
We are just hopping on to discuss this big transition for both of us and kind of talk about what my vision is for the space, what Steve was thinking in connecting with me. And yeah, we just figured y'all might have some questions and we're here to answer them if you're hopping online or if you leave comments later. So yeah, I'm just feeling so grateful to have this opportunity. For those of you who don't know me, I started ReUnify almost 6 years ago now, and it's like literally a block that way. And we're a very community-oriented studio. Like I know all of my students by name. A lot of times I know what's going on in their life. We're like very close. And some of them have been coming to practice with me for almost 10 years before I opened the space. But a lot of them bought memberships with me at my pre-opening party. So it's very cool to like know my community, know all of their skills and their positive qualities, all their negative qualities, and the way that we all work together. And I'm just feeling so grateful to be able to meet all the students here and get to know them in the same way and see how the two communities merge. So like my main vision is like watching these two very potent spiritual communities come together here in OB, because we're like literally a block away. And when I came to take Robin's class here, I actually saw a lot of familiar faces. So there's people hopping back and forth, and it feels like this commingling has already been happening. And then when we move into this space, it's going to be this big like, let's settle into this practice together. So I'm just feeling excited and eager to see what that looks like and what that feels like.
Yeah, this has been such a great journey for me. I think the first thing I want to start with is just gratitude for everyone over the years. We've been through a lot in this space. I took it over from Mitch and Carson. It was Happy You Yoga back in 2019, and they held it I think for 7 years, and they bought it from Elka, who had it before that. So there's just been like a long lineage of people in this space. And when I first came to the decision to sell the studio and move it along to somebody that could give it more energy than I was able to, Nikki was the first one that popped into my head. I've seen just them being our neighbors, what they've been doing down the street has been really incredible over the last several years. And my heart is really in the more traditional, more spiritual approach to yoga, and so I just felt really aligned with what she was doing in her space, and hopeful that that sort of approach to yoga could come in and carry forward what we have been carrying forward from the previous owners over the course of the last 15 years, really. So it was really like an easy transition for me to find someone. Thankfully, when I called Nikki, she was open to it and excited about the opportunity to merge the communities, and I couldn't think of a better fit to pass this on.
Thanks. It really means a lot to me. I won't even forget that feeling after we hung up the phone after our first phone call. It was very special because immediately the vision came of like what this could be, and I just felt so inspired. I live literally, our two studios are 1 block away, and then I live 1 block towards People's. So I'm just so involved in this side of town, and I practice at my studio, I teach at the studio. It's just like, it is my family, it is my extended family, and I really pour into it in that way. And in the same way, I receive from it. Like I was telling Steve in my early postpartum, I didn't cook a meal for like a month because all my students were like, here's some food. And then that's when I realized like, I didn't open a yoga studio. I created this like living, breathing entity. And I know that Steve and all the owners before did the same thing in this space. I know this space is also very tradition-oriented and community-oriented. So it's pretty cool that we have those two things in common. Because OB is all about community. Like you live in a city in San Diego, but it's like when you live in OB, it feels like a small town. Like I don't leave my house without seeing someone I know. So a lot of those people I know from the yoga community or the surf.
Yeah. And that's really what I was hoping for with this space. My other location in Bird Rock, I live right next door to that studio. And so how Nikki is in Ocean Beach, that's how I am in Bird Rock. And when I was really doing my soul searching and trying to decide what I wanted to do just with my life personally going forward, and with this studio, I wanted to find somebody who had that same sort of connection to the community, that lived in the area, was close by, could be in the studio every single day. And so not only was Nikki aligned in terms of her approach to yoga, but also she is here. She is Ocean Beach kind of in my mind. And so I'm really excited that not only is it going to a studio that is our neighbor and is aligned in our like vision about offering the practice of yoga, but she's already like the OB girl and can bring in her community to mesh with ours and build something even bigger together.
Thanks. Yeah, my husband like hates going to the farmer's market with me on Wednesdays because we just can't go more than 10 feet without me saying hello to someone. But I'm an extrovert, so I like genuinely want to know, I'm like, how is this person doing? And like Andy's just standing back there twiddling his thumbs. But yeah, I guess that trait definitely serves in a good way for, being a part of a yoga community, as you know, over in Bird Rock. So we wanted to just keep it short and sweet. I saw someone put a little fire sign. Thanks, Wendell. We just wanted to keep it short and sweet and then fill you in on the vision for what I'm thinking here and why Steve even reached out to me. And our opening day here is Saturday, November 16th. We'll be having a class that morning, 8:30 a.m. And then Steve's last day is Friday, November 8th. So he'll be teaching a class. Is it 5:30 p.m.? 5:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m. And there'll be some kirtan afterwards. I intend to be there, of course, because I want to be there for that transition. And it's just I've been really reflecting a lot. I was lucky enough to be in Germany the last few weeks during this whole announcement and spending time in the forest and spending time in nature. And I've just been really reflecting a lot at how beautiful it is that like the life cycle is always continuing and that with beginnings there are endings and that we're always in this process of flux and transition. And even when you texted me on the day of like announcement, you're like, enjoy this feeling. I can remember it 5 years ago. That felt so potent to me because I was like, oh yeah, like this is so temporary. Like we never know what's coming. Like I didn't know from one day to the next that this opportunity was going to arise for me. And I feel like that was such a teaching of the impermanence of life and how the impermanence of life can remind us to cherish these things and cherish these transitions and every moment along the way from doors opening to doors closing. So grateful to have remembered that spiritual aspect of all these moving parts.
I know sometimes we can get a little caught up in the chaos of all of the things and the to-do list. I know I definitely have that experience, but just to kind of come back to like, what's the purpose of us all being here and what are we doing and why do we put in all this effort? Because I will say running a yoga studio is hard work and I'm really excited for what Nikki can do in this space and for myself to be able to just focus all of my energy into my space in Bird Rock and to be two lights in San Diego, being able to continue sharing the practice of yoga amongst the other people that are out there doing the same. And that's really what it's all about for us. That's why we show up every day. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's so true. Honestly, it's been really nice just to get to know you and like feel that sense of camaraderie, like knowing another person going through a lot of the same day-to-day and just how potent it is and just how special it is that, we chose this for our life path and we chose this for our dharma. And to just have that recognized by all of you in the way that you show up as well. So I think we're both showing up on here with a lot of gratitude and a lot of like higher level understanding that this is the next step. This is what's meant to be.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what happens. All we have is this moment, and so I've been really grateful. It's been such a smooth transition working with Nikki and all the logistics that we have to go through to make this happen. So I can't imagine a better way of it all just unfolding, and so I'm feeling good and excited for me and excited for you and our communities, and I hope everybody will
motorcycles and airplanes.
I hope everybody that has been with us at Riffs over the last 5 years will continue to practice in the space and check out what Nikki has to offer and her team, and continue sharing the love in this space.
Thanks, Steve. Always thanks. After everything you say, like, thanks. And last little share before we end this IG Live that I dragged Steve into. I chose to name ReUnify for multiple reasons. And I guess I wanted to share that with y'all Riffs people who might not know that. And maybe some of y'all ReUnify folks don't know. One aspect is that I wanted to reunify all the 8 limbs of yoga, because I think a lot of times here in the West, there is this sole practice of asana and intense physical asana. And I was lucky enough to have a training here and also a training in India. And when I really began to understand what yoga is, I realized we've lost so many of the roots of it, so many of the traditional aspects that come from the motherland of India. And I was like, oh, no. When I come back, if I open my own space, like, I want to reintegrate all these aspects. And of course, ReUnify offers a lot of asana, but in it, all of our teachers often teach philosophy, pranayama, which means breath work, concentration practices. So ReUnify was not only about reunifying those limbs, but I also wanted to feel this sense of reunifying humans, because yoga means union. And to me, community is yoga, right? Community is a coming together of humans, and yoga is union. So ReUnify to me is also seeing community as yoga, reunifying humans. And I thought how special it is that we're unifying 2 major spiritual yoga communities in OB under the name ReUnify, not even knowing that, 6 years ago. So just wanted to share that last tidbit about what ReUnify is and where it came from. And I hope that I can share a lot more with y'all in person. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you.
Love ya.
Love ya.